everybody, welcome to Nodes and Fronds here on YouTube. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Amy.
And today we're going to be chatting about the snake plant. So do you want to go ahead and kick us off?
Yes, we're going to start out with their common names. So there's snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue. I have heard eye poker plant is apparently a thing. But their proper name is and/or was Sansevieria, but they have been reclassified as Dracaena. But for the sanity of this video, we're calling them Sansevieria.
Yes.
But at some point, we'll make that transition to actually calling them Dracaena, because apparently they've been reclassified again.
Yeah, they've been reclassified a few times. The genus of plants can change, like as science moves on and we're able to really look at plants in a lot more detail. They just kind of move things around and reclassify and stuff, so you know. But we like to call them Sansevieria.
We're stuck in our old ways.
Yeah.
And basic care tips, I'll start with lighting. They're pretty low light tolerant. Obviously, they would prefer more of a bright indirect light if that's available, but I do have several of mine that are kind of more in darker corners of my house, and they still survive. And that's going to be that when do they survive or thrive, but they do pretty well.
Yeah, I've got several of mine in dark corners, and then I've got some that are in bright areas, and I will say the ones that are in the bright areas definitely grow a lot more than the ones that are in the dark corners. They live and they survive just fine though, in their dark corners.
And water?
So watering, these are, they're very prone to root rot because they don't like a lot of water. They store a lot of water inside of their leaves. They're very thick and wide, so they're able to store a lot of moisture in here. So if you overwater, I would highly recommend putting them in a mix that allows for better drainage, because they're not going to like being overwatered. So I water mine maybe once a month. So, and it's also going to depend on where you live. So here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of humidity and it's pretty wet and dark and damp all the time. So like I said, I water mine once a month, but if you live like Arizona or something and they dry out a lot faster, you might need to water yours once a week to once every other week. So it just kind of depends on where you live and how much water it's going through. So just check your soil, make sure it's completely dry before you water.
For sure. And humidity, they don't really need much of anything. They don't need anything.
No,
they're
no humidity.
Totally fine with your normal household humidity. I wouldn't really keep them in a super humid area like a bathroom, just because they are a little bit more prone to rot and stuff. So keep those high humidity areas for your tropicals, and you know, put them in your living room. They'd be totally fine, totally chill.
Yep. And then they are mildly toxic, so if you have any pets who like to chomp on the leaves, just be aware of that. They're not going to kill your children or pets. They'll just make their stomachs irritated and they might vomit a little. So just be aware of that if you have little ones or pets. So.
And now we're going to get into some different varieties. There is a massive amount of Sansevieria. We have quite a few between us, but obviously we're not covering them all. But we're just going to introduce a few different varieties. So I'll start us off with Sansevieria bonsal, and this is a fun little guy. I do find that this one, it's normally more fan-shaped. I think probably because I rotate it a lot in my window.
It's looking for that light.
He ends up being a little bit more wild. So that's my thought on what's causing that, but it's a pretty chill, fun one. What do you got?
I have, this first one is your pretty classic. You'll find it literally in every plant store, box store. I looked it up beforehand because I've always just like, when somebody says snake plant, this is literally the one I think of. Laurentii. I'll put it on the screen. So yeah, this is probably the most common of snake plants that you can find, and it is so pretty. I love this one.
And this is probably one of my favorite Sansevierias, and this is Sansevieria cylindrica, and you can see it has some newer buds here at the base, and they come out more like Sansevieria fernwood at first, but then they grow long and pointy, and they're just super fun. So this is probably my favorite Sansevieria, and it's a prolific grower. Normally snake plants are pretty slow growers, but I bought this one in spring, and it just had 5 of these little stakes. These are the 5 original. All of the rest of it is new growth. So it's pretty fun to watch too for a snake plant.
Do you have that in a bright location?
Yes, it is in a brighter location. So again, is it going to survive or thrive? And you can kind of weigh that, but yeah, it's a fun one.
This next one was a huge wish list one of mine. This is Sansevieria Moonshine. It has nice broad paler leaves. When they first come in, they're like super like pale minty green. This one I have in an area where it's not getting a whole lot of light, so it's producing a little more chlorophyll, so it's getting a little bit darker. But if I put this back near a window, it would probably get a little bit lighter. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's so pretty.
Then we have the Sansevieria, common name is bird's nest, and the proper name is a Trifasciata hanini. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but this one, so it's going to stay lower growing.
Yeah, the bird's nest ones will always stay little.
They're not going to get tall, which can be a little bit confusing. People will see this in a plant shop and be like,
it's a baby.
Oh, it's a baby one. But it's not. It's actually a more compact version, which is kind of fun. You do have to be careful with these ones when you're watering it, that you don't trap water in there. So either bottom water it, so set it in another container if it has a drain hole and it can soak the water up, or just be super careful when you're watering that you don't trap it in there or it will rot.
Yeah, which you kind of want to do with all of your snake plants, because like this one, it has like inside of it, it's got like spots and pockets where the water can get trapped. With your snake plants, you always want to water around it or bottom water, for sure. All right. Last one I have is Sansevieria Black Coral. I love how dark these leaves are. I'm super into dark foliage, so yeah, this one will get nice and tall. They can get up to like here. Not that you can really gauge how to, yeah. I was like, you know, here, so you can tell how high that is. They can get nice and tall. I haven't seen any new growth yet, but again, I have this one that lives in a dark corner, so I think maybe this summer I'll pop it outside to live, and we'll see if it will maybe get some new growth.
And do that transition slowly.
Yeah, slowly inch it. Yeah. If you have it in a dark corner and you want it to get more growth, I will start it kind of near my back door, which is a south-facing window, and then I'll like get it closer and closer, and then when I put it outside, I'll put it under my eave, and then I'll move it to the center of my patio.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll burn them.
Yeah. And the last one that I have is Sansevieria fernwood, and this is a pretty spiky, fun one. It's a pretty compact grower. This is just a small starting of one. They do get fairly tall, like I'd say from the bottom of the pot, I've seen ones that are like yay high. So they get like medium height. But yeah, they're a kind of fun one. This is another one that you really want to make sure that you don't top water. I had someone ask me why theirs had died, and I was like, did you by chance top water it? And they were like, yeah. Well, then it rotted. So just a little tidbit there for you. But yeah, lots of fun Sansevierias. This is just a small, very small sampling of what's out there, but they are super easy plants. one of the easiest, best beginner friendly. Like you said, just don't overwater.
Yeah, it's a good gift plant, especially for your mother-in-law.
No. Gosh.
No, I gave one to my mother-in-law and she cracked up. She thought it was absolutely hilarious that was their name. So, anyways, that is Sansevieria. So if you have a favorite, let us know in the comments. We'd love to know what your favorite variety of snake plant is. And then just give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe.
Thanks for watching Nodes and Fronds.
Have a great day.